I want to clearly air before doing what I normally do. I never heard of Space Harrier until very late. So late in fact, the moment I heard of Space Harrier was when I played it in the arcade in Shenmue for the Dreamcast. I knew about Outrun and Afterburner, sure, but Space Harrier? Not a nothing, not even a crumb. Not sure why that is. I'm not an expert on the Midlands market in the UK back in the day when regards to Space Harrier, but I know about it now, and I love it. So I want to dedicate this video to the first two games. The second game was a Mega Drive exclusive, but the first game, well, here's a small list of what it was ported to. 32X X68000, the Master System Game Gear TurboGrafx 16, Game Boy Advanced, Famicom, ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64, Amiga, Atari, IBM PC, PC8801, Sharp MZ, Fujitsu FM7, a Sharp X1, Sonic Cafe Mobile, Sega Ages Mobile, and of course, the Sega Saturn. So, I choose the arcade original, because that way it's easier. And plus, if I'm going to use the Mega Drive sequel as the only reference of that game, then I should use the first created of the original game, right, as that reference. Does that make sense? I don't care if it does, that's what I'm doing. This game was made to be a coin muncher. That is true. It's super tough for beginners. You control the Space Harrier guy as he zooms through the vast landscape, with many obstacles and enemies flying towards you. You can either maneuver around the hazards or use that huge ass blaster to clear everything that you see. Because if you get hit even once, you're a goner. You have lives and continues, but you don't have nearly enough for a casual playthrough. You have to be dedicated to sit down and play out the whole game to even come close to the end. As mentioned before, the things you'll come across are obstacles and enemies. You'll normally blast the objects that come your way, but some enemies will fight back, shooting their own projectiles whilst hopping or zipping around desperately, trying to avoid your aim. The majority of what you'll face will go down with 1 or 2 shots at most. That is until you reach a boss, and there are many bosses, all with their own unique look and attack pattern. So keep this all in mind whilst you're trying to reach for that high score. Every now and then you'll come across a bonus stage, where you ride a big old white furry thing that kinda reminds me of the Luck Dragon from Neverending Story. You use it to smack down as many objects on screen as possible, and at the end you gain more points depending on how many things you crushed, so you get a chance to gain more lives, etc. Now then, the landscape for this game is pretty nice to look at. Nice bright colours, neat little peaks or trees in the far background to give you some depth. It's not too complicated and yet it works for what's going on. Plus, the art doesn't need to be that complex, because most of what your playtime will consist of is looking around frantically so that you don't get shot down. And you didn't think I was going to forget the music, did you? How could I? It's so iconic. Any Sega fan or anybody who has played a Sega game has heard this song or a remixed version at some point in their lives. I can listen to this tune for hours. I never get tired of hearing it. And that's the first game in a nutshell. I don't really have anything I would change about it. It isn't perfect, but it does what it was meant to do. And that was to eat at your money. Onto the sequel. There really isn't many changes when it comes to Space Harrier 2. It's very similar. However, there are some differences, and some little tweaks that make it noteworthy enough to at least try once yourself. First big difference is that you can select where you want to go first. You are placed in a hub room like area where you choose which area you want to start your journey on. However, once you have chosen what it is that you want to play on first, that's it. You play by the game's level order by then. But you get a little peek at some future stages, so that's kinda cool. And the music isn't something to write home about. It's alright as music goes, and it's not offensive to the ears or anything. But the original theme trumps it by far. But this is something I really enjoyed. When I started playing, I was already good enough to play through the first stage thanks to the past game, and when I thought I reached the boss, it was in fact a feint. The first boss from the first game shows up just to be a decoy, and when you finish it off, the screen goes dark. Lightning cracks in the background and the boss appears guns blazing. Now that was a great idea. Hopping from the first to second game was perfect for this trap to work, and it is something I'll remember for a long time. But I do have something to say about these bosses. That's right, this one is Gamera, a Godzilla monster. This is the Flatwoods monster, a myth creature from West Virginia. That's Medusa, a Greek monster, and fucking this, and the Tiger with Wings. Now, compared to the first game, these bosses are a lot less creative. However, the final boss is Dark Harrier, and that's a cool boss fight. But you can see how I was turned on my head about this. It's very noticeable and something that just cannot be avoided in conversation about this game. Very odd. And that's it, my homies. The main two games in a nutshell. I could talk about the spin-offs of the game and the remastered version that they did for the PlayStation 2, but nah, maybe another time. Also, I have a confession to make. Partly why I wanted to create this video was to help promote this. It's called XENOCIDER, and it's on Kickstarter right now. It's coming to PC, Mac, Linux, 3DS and Dreamcast. It's a 3D rail shooter just like Space Harrier, but from the looks of it, it'll be a darker and more interesting game. I have very high hopes for this project, and I would be very happy if you just took 5 minutes to look at this page and to see if you're into this game yourself. Oh, you can also download the demo, so you can get a taste of what it's like yourself. Also, this wasn't a paid promotion, I promise. Why would they pay me? I just want to see this project reach its goal, and I feel like this is a really nice way of doing it. If you're interested in XENOCIDER, the text of the URL is on the screen and the link is in the description. It would be so great if this was to reach its pledge goal, and if you would be so kind as to share the knowledge about XENOCIDER if you don't already know about it yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.